Toastmasters. It's not just about talking. It's also about listening. Your communication is incomplete if you do not sharpen your listening skills. Let me give you a brief introduction of our next table topic master who is going to conduct the session for us. Again, it is raining finance, it is raining money, but in rupees, not in dollars. Our Vaibhav Murthy is a CA and he works in finance division of an investment bank. Again, we're going into investment. So guest, invest in yourself and become a better communicator is what I would say over here. He has joined Toastmasters 5 years back and his aim was at that time to improve his communication skills. And every Toastmaster sessions he says has helped him become a better communicator. So I now hand over the stage to table topic master Vaibhav. Over to you, table topic master Vaibhav.
Well, thanks a lot, Kalpana, for that introduction. Really appreciate that. Well, before I actually conduct the session, maybe, just want to tell or maybe add on to what Sanish has already said. I joined Toastmaster 5 years back. Yeah, I'm from those days which Pratibha was referring to, those old course with books. But the reason I joined was I had a fear factor of speaking in front of large audience. And as one of my mentors suggested me that Toastmasters would be the right platform where I can join and practice my communication and become a better communicator. That's why I'm here. So that's a bit of background for all the guests. And the reason I feel that with every meeting you learn something and become a better communicator, I'll explain that why. Okay, even if you have achieved your goal, say 5 years back, I was, not such a great communicator according to me, and maybe over the time I improved. Why I still joined the Toastmasters meeting, and why I'm still a member. Let me give an example. All of us know about a great sporting legend named Virat Kohli, right? And people who follow him also know that right now he's going one of the slumpest phase of his life. He's out of form. Right, he's a great player. Nobody need to vouch for that. He has already attained all the success in the skills he wants to, but he's struggling right now and he needs to come back to form. You know what he needs to do? Or I'm sorry, maybe he might be already doing that, but according to me, he needs to practice. He needs to play in Ranji or a domestic league. He needs to go and spend more time on nets, have an environment which is a real life and which is closer to a real life environment where you can practice and fail. I believe Toastmasters is the safest place to fail. I come here to fail. I don't come here to succeed. I come here to fail because when I fail, I get feedback, and with that I succeed. So with that, let me move ahead with the next section. And I want people to come here and try to fail. If you succeed, nothing like it. This is the section where you get an opportunity to speak impromptu or extempore. So I have a list of topics where you can come ahead and choose one of the topic. You'll be given a stipulated time, which is minimum time is 1 minute. And the maximum time is 2 minutes with a grace period of 30 seconds. So that means you can speak on that topic for minimum 1 minute till 2 minutes 30 seconds. And I'll tell you why extempore is important. Imagine you are in a lift and you meet CEO of your company in the lift, or for the diverse audience who might not be, in professional environment, say you're in a lift and you meet Prime Minister in the lift. He says, "Hi Vaibhav, how are you?" What would you do? You'll just say, "I'm fine," and leave it there. That's the opportunity for you to make the most out of it, to think on your feet, strike a conversation, speak for 2 minutes and build a rapport. So for example, Sanish, if you're thinking that was staged where he will call my name and ask me, Vaibhav, tell me what you think about leadership. No, he literally put me on my feet. I gathered my thoughts 10 seconds and then I spoke about it. So that is where I feel that opportunity, when it knocks impromptu, extempore. So you should be ready to speak. It's not always prepared meetings where you go and speak. Suddenly in one meeting, somebody will say, Vaibhav, what's your opinion? You need to gather your thoughts and speak. And as Kalpana very nicely said, we believe in Japanese musical chair. So for the guest, what we're going to do is we're going to support you so that you attempt it. How we're going to support you? Two ways. One is I'll tell you a trick to attempt this. Say if I have a topic, my favorite sportsman. So today all the topics are my favorite tagline. So if I have a topic, my favorite sportsman, you can speak. If you really have a sportsman, it's going to be a cakewalk for you, right? You're going to speak for 1 minute. What if you do not like sports? So maybe you can speak about why you don't like sports and what you like. Like, I don't like sports because I feel X, Y, Z. Hence, I like books. I like reading books. My favorite book is this. So there's always a way you can speak impromptu and extempore. So with that support, I'll move ahead. And the second support we're going to give is I'm going to call an experienced Toastmasters first to give the table topic speech so that he gives you a demo, he or she, as to how to give a shot to a table topic speech. And then I'll encourage the guest to take this opportunity and speak, because this is how any of the Toastmasters meeting would be, where you'll get an opportunity and you have to grab it. So with that, let me ask any of the Toastmasters who are currently a member of the Toastmaster International to raise their hand, and maybe I can, do a demo on how to, speak extempore. So anybody out of Rashmin, Kalpana, Pratibha, Sunish, or I know even we had one more member, right? Rajiv. Or should I choose? Okay, okay, great. Sanish is raising his hand. So Sanish, if you could unmute yourself. Great. So Sanish, I have 9 topics. So if you could choose one number between 1 to 9, and I can tell you what is the topic you have to speak on. 1.
1.
Well, 1, right? Okay, well, Sanish, my favorite movie, Sanish.
How many of you watch Hollywood movies? Can I see a raise of hand or virtual hand? All right, Kalpana, Rashmi, thanks, Vaibhav, great. So my favorite hobby, right, before I joined Toastmasters, somebody used to ask me, was like watching movies. Like, I can give you such a long list of movies. I really enjoy watching movies, especially Hollywood movies. Like, they take you out to another world. Now, one of my favorite movies is, well, before I come to that, let me tell you a short story about that movie. So it's a story about a general, and the movie set in a prehistoric era. And this general was selected by his emperor to be the caretaker of the kingdom once he is gone. And the emperor's son is not happy about it. He tries to kill the general and he fails, but he succeeds in killing the general's family. The general loses all hope in his life and does not want to live anymore. Then he's taken by a slave trader and he's sold off. Now, any guesses? Can somebody guess which story I am talking about?
Is it Ben-Hur?
No. Something similar. It's about a story about how a general becomes a slave and the slave becomes a gladiator, and the gladiator is more powerful than the
Spartans.
It's a Spartan.
Yeah. No.
Julius Caesar?
It's Gladiator.
Yeah, Gladiator. I put in the clue in that phrase. So Gladiator is one of my favorite movies of the Russell Crowe. It shows always to keep on going, like when the things around in our life may not always be for our best, and there are going to be times when things seem to be like everything is good, like how he faced, he was supposed to become the kind of next emperor, and suddenly someone, the villain, came and took everything away from him. Still he doesn't give up. That thing, like at the end of his life, he's going to be again reunited with his family, and that's an amazing storyline for me. Like in life, a fantasy beyond that life, and that metaphor always inspires me. So my favorite movie, friends, is Gladiator, and if you have not yet watched it, watch it. It's a delicacy for your eyes as well as for your mind. Thank you, and over to you.
Great. Thanks, Sanish, for demonstrating how you give a table topic. And thanks for telling that there is an inspiring element in everything, everywhere, whatever we do, there is some inspiration, right? Even movies, though they are made for entertainment purposes, I also strongly, agree with you that there is an inspirational value in every good movie, which leaves us with a message, right? The movie you referred, it is inspiring us that life may have leaps and bounces, but you need to have a positive attitude. And what I was referring to earlier, show a series of behavior where you, with that positive attitude, you become still successful. And I'm glad that movie has inspired you, and there are many such movies which have inspired me. And also on how to give a good table topic. So the technique which Sanish used is a technique called zoom out, right? So the topic was about a movie, so he started with what movie he likes, and he zoomed out to a very broader point, a message, that what message that movie gives you. So thanks for that, Sanish. With that, let's move ahead, and let me see if we have somebody else who can try this. And I can see Tarun has raised his hand, but before I go to Tarun, is there any guest who wants to give a shot at this? Prateek, Sunila, who are here for the first time, do you want to give a try?
Vaibhav, sure. Prateek has raised his hand.
Okay, perfect. So Prateek, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. Prateek, if I may request you, if it's possible, can you switch on your video? Otherwise, that's fine.
I think I may not be able to do it this time. I'm not at home, so
that's absolutely fine. As far as we hear your voice, we should be okay. So the number 1 is taken, if that was your favorite number, but you still left with a number between 2 and 9. If you could
it's a good thing my lucky number is actually 2, so I'll go with that.
Great. So Prateek, my favorite season, Prateek.
Right. So it's very hard to pick a favorite season in terms of what I enjoy the most, because each season sort of has its own vibe. But I would have to say my favorite season would be the winter season. Reason being, because the kind of hobbies that I have are mostly indoors. For example, I love reading books. So reading book in itself is a vibe when it's nice and gloomy outside, and then you're cuddled up in your bed and you're reading a good book. That's an exceptional experience, and I do look forward to that. Living in Mumbai, which is known for its humidity, it's not hard to not like winter, just because you could go out without worrying about having to sweat. If you commute to work, you could end up like really with sweat stains on your shirt and whatnot. That is something I particularly dislike. So winters are sort of like, to give you an example, I'm out right now, and even though it's supposed to be monsoon, when I went out, by the time I reached where I am right now, I was sweating. So that's something that becomes a little inconvenient. So for those reasons, I like winter season, and also the fact that Christmas sort of overlaps with winter. So Christmas and winter sort of go hand in hand in my mind, at least. Like, I know if it's winter, Christmas is just around the corner, and I really love Christmas as a season. I really like it's towards the end of the year. It's a festival season as well. So for those reasons, and also it gives me, since it's the last quarter of the year, I also take some time to reflect how my year went, and I also try to come up with some plans for the next year, January onwards, what sort of plans I have. So winter, in summary, winter is basically offers a good vibe to me, as well as it helps me reflect on my year, and also plan things for the future. So yep, I hope I was able to offer a different perspective on winter, and be able to explain why that's my favorite season. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot, Prateek. So winter is the winner here, and I totally echo with you. I think the monsoon brings the joy, the change in weather, uh, but definitely winter stands out for me too, because monsoon brings in other things too, which might not be so pleasant. Whereas winter, as you really rightly pointed out, it makes you cuddle. It gives you that opportunity to open your racks and get those old sweaters and rugs, being there for entire day. That was my childhood memory. And also, nothing to beat my favorite moment is having an ice cream in winters. Nothing can beat that as an experience. And I think the last thing you said, to reflect, resonate, and ruminate at the end of the year, as to how the year went and what you want to do next year. Even the person who had one of the worst years would be in a very positive zone, because the year is ending, and he will have a positive vibe in or his head that, okay, maybe from 1st of January things will change and I'm going to succeed. And I'm definitely sure with that attitude, everybody would have a blast on the New Year's Eve. So winter is a winner. Thanks for that, Prateek. With that, we can move ahead with the next person who wants to give. I know we had a hand up from Tarun. Tarun, do you want to give a try?
Yeah, sure. Let me give it a shot.
Perfect. So 1 and 2 has been taken. So you have numbers between 3 and 9. You can select one.
So I'll go with 7.
7. Tarun, my favorite book. Tarun.
Okay, so I'm a kind of bookworm, and I picked up this habit during the COVID period when we had nothing much to do. And I think that was the right time in my life where actually I got this habit of reading, and I've read a few books since then. But one of the books that hasn't left me, or rather, I haven't left it, is the book called Sapiens. I have read this book at least 3 to 4 times, and I still continue to read it. While the other books, I just read it once and then they go into my library or whatever small corner I have in my home. But Sapiens keeps on coming back onto my reading table and sometimes to my bed. And the reason I say so is because it's a very different perspective of the evolution of humankind that has been mentioned, or rather enumerated in Sapiens, which really opens your mind about what as human beings, what we are today, what we were, and how have we progressed over a period of time that's thousands and thousands of years. It also gives a huge perspective, or very different perspective, about how the financial markets work, how the financial systems have developed, and it also talks about the happiness, how the happiness is perceived, and how do we perceive happiness in our lives versus what it actually means biologically. So there are multiple chapters in that book. Like I said, it starts from prehistoric times, comes right till about a couple of years back, if you read the latest edition. And between these time span, it gives you a complete or a very holistic perspective about how the evolution of manpower has evolved, and how the systems around financial systems, or for that matter, the agriculture or industrial revolution has taken place, and how as human beings we have grown, and how are we same or different versus our ancestors. So I like that book tremendously, and I don't think that I'm going to leave it at any point of time. I keep on going back to refresh or refurbish, or sometimes go back to the book to read a few particular perspective, and I just can't let it go. So that's my favorite book, and back to you. Thank you.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you, Tarun, for that. I think according to me, book is the man's best friend. And as you narrated the book, which is your favorite, just gave you a perspective on how the financial markets work. I was talking to one of my, CFOs in my organization, and I got a chance to interview him. And he also mentioned a book named House of Cards, which shows how leadership can make a company, successful, and how it can also make it, fall apart. If you ask me personally, though I do not read books so much, one of my favorite books, still one of my favorite, is 7 Habits of a Successful Person, if I'm mentioning that correctly. And I very vividly remember the 2 habits which were mentioned in there. One of them, would apply for all of us. It said, sharpen your sword. Right? A simple term, sharpen your sword, which signifies what I just said. Practice, 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 because the day when you have to use your sword, you have already sharpened it. And that's why we are here. With that, let me move ahead and see if somebody else can want to volunteer. Again, I want to call out any of the guests. Maybe Sunila, Olivia, you guys want to, try out, or any other guest who's
okay,
new to Toastmasters?
I'm on. Yeah, Sunila.
Okay, perfect, Sunila. Great. So 1, 2, and 7 is taken. So can you choose a number between 3 to 5, 3 to 6, or 8 to 9?
I choose 3.
3. Great. Sunila?
Yeah.
My favorite food or cuisine? My favorite food or cuisine, Sunila?
Hello, everyone. It's a lovely topic because I love cooking and love to try out new cuisines. I'm not a very big eater though, but I like to try out new things in small quantities. So even if I go out for dinner, I love to try out a new salad. So in this, in the new era now, every day there's a new restaurant which is opening up. And there are so many things. I'm really amazed at the number of things we can learn and cook and eat. But the best cuisine is the Indian cuisine. I would say that because we make use of so many things which are grown in the soil, our Mother Earth. And it is amazing that India has so many varieties of food that can be cooked and even eaten raw in a different way. So whether it be salads or maybe partially cooked or steamed. So basically, I am not pointing out that I have a very particular cuisine which is my favorite. And all I would like to say is I eat to live. I do not live to eat. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Sunila. That last statement which you said will resonate with me forever. I'm kind of a person like you. I'm a big foodie. I have a box of biscuits, khakras, and bit more snacks while I'm here. And I'm munching whenever I get time. I completely agree with you. I went out yesterday for a family dinner. It was my sister's birthday. We ordered all sort of things, different cuisines. We ordered pasta. We did a bit of paneer sriracha sauce, Chinese, Nepali soup, everything. But at the end of the day, there has to be an Indian dish which has to come. So at the end of the day, the last 2 things I ordered was an Indian sabji with roti, and then I went to a kulfi shop and I got a kulfi dessert for myself. So completely agree with you. I think India, with its diversity, there's so many cuisines, across different regions, and yeah, all of them are something to cherish. So thanks for that. With that, let me quickly check with Tmod that do we have time to do few more, or we are short of time?
I think you would still have 10 more minutes.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
yeah.
So that means we can have at least 2 or 3 more. So anybody else who wants to try? The topics I have are very simple. You might have guessed it by now, looking at the 4 topics I've shared.
Rashmin has raised his hand. Guest Rashmin.
Rashmin.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
I'm ready.
So thank you, Rashmi. So Rashmin, 1, 2, 3, and 7 are taken. Do you want to choose any other number from 1 to 9?
I'll choose the last number 9.
Number 9. Okay, that's my favorite number. Rashmin, my favorite icon or personality who inspires me. My favorite icon or personality who inspires me, Rashmin.
Well, Sachin. So, well, certainly Sachin is one of my favorite icons. So, there is, about Sachin, I'm not very much a fan of his batting actually, but I'm a big fan of what he is as a person. Everything that Sachin does sets an example. He has played almost 20-25 years, and you will not see any moment of any of his behavior that you might say that this is not the right one. Everything he does is an example. I happened to watch him when he was at the around age of 38 or 39. It was almost at the end of his cricketing season. He was practicing at the BKC ground. It was around 3 o'clock. I went for some visa work over there. So there was a lot of crowd watching him. And I also, thought, let's just see what he's been doing. So I went there, and it was 3 o'clock, somewhere around October, I would say. And it was quite hot and humid in Bombay, as you know. And at around age of 38, 39, you would wonder how long somebody would practice. In a cricketer like Sachin, who has broken every records, he has every records in his name. But then I saw him practicing. Initially, started practicing with slower spinners. Then he started, playing shots on the ground. Then he started practicing with the faster ones, playing shots in the ground. Then after a few hours, he started practicing hitting the shots. And I was just watching him, and I kept watching him for almost 3 hours. So, somebody at that age practicing so much when he was going to retire, he already has announced his retirement that, few days later he was going to play his final match. So for me, Sachin is not just the legend, but a person with immense, I'm lost of words right now, but somebody whom I can always look upon on everything that he does, he says, is like an example for me. And no wonder why he's one of the most lovable cricketer or icon in the country. So yes, Sachin is the god. So thank you so much.
Great, thanks, Rashmin, for bringing that. For choosing Sachin, I'll tell you why. Because I think what you said about practice, that resonates what we spoke earlier and what Sanish was saying, right? That at the age of 38, when he achieved everything in his life, is the best batsman the best of best have said that they look themselves into him, like Sir Donald Bradman said that. So he's the best batsman, if not all-time best batsman, at least the best batsman of my life. But he was still practicing at the age of 38, even after he announced his retirement. He was still sharpening his sword. He was still, he still believed that the safest place to fail is those nets or the practice grounds, not in the live match. And few of you might be wondering that at the beginning I said I come here to fail. Well, that was not a negative statement. That was a statement when I said, if I have to fail, rather I fail here, not an important client call or not in a call with, an important person, or when a prime minister or a CEO is in the lift to say hi to me. So that's a great example. And the second thing which you were struggling at the end, maybe I'll fill your words. If I have to show my kid how he should become once he grows up, I'll show Sachin. I won't show any of the current generation cricketers who abuse on TV. He always maintained decorum. He always maintained sincerity from the age of 16. So he was young when he came, but he always had his, feet on the ground. So thanks for bringing his name. Really appreciate it. We'll take one last one. And who's that lucky last one? I want to see if any of the guests can come ahead. That would be nothing like it.
Yeah, hello, hi.
Hey, sorry, I cannot see your name. Can you tell your name? Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Vaibhav,
Yeah, I'm
it's
Rajiv Ranjan.
Hey, Rajiv, thanks. I'm sorry, maybe a net was slow at my end. So thanks, Rajiv, for volunteering. So the numbers which are already taken are 1, 2, 3, 7, and 9. So do you want to choose any other number between 1 till 9?
Number 8.
Number 8. Rajiv, my favorite part of the day, that is morning, evening, or night. My favorite part of the day, Rajiv.
My favorite part of the day is, of course, morning time. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I go outside for walking and running, and then I do all my personal work. And as I am a trader, then I started looking for a market at almost 7 or 8 hours in the morning. And because morning time is my favorite time, is because it is the best time for market to trade in the morning, because market have very volatile, and I enjoy very lot in the morning time. Then I seated in the market, and morning is the and after all this my work, morning is the very enjoyable part of my life, my day, because sun are rising, birds are charming. I started my bike and go through my city. I by looking for friends, and I enjoy with friends very much. It is very enjoyable time. And then in the after morning, it's afternoon time. I still set up in the market, and in the evening time I same routine I follow. As morning I go outside, meet with friends, doing some other work, and then came home doing other work, some work, and then go for sleeping, then uh, uh, continuous routine. That's all. Okay, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thanks for that attempt. Really appreciate that. I was waiting for you to speak about birds chiming and sun rising in the morning, because when you picked morning time and when you started speaking, I started, maybe I went into a nostalgia about my younger days when I used to wake up early to study for my CA exams. We used to study all night and sleep in the veranda and get up with birds chiming and sun rising so that we can go and study again. But nothing like it, right? When the morning happens, when the sun rays hits the the place where we are, that the glimmer of hope that today it's going to be a new day. And when you hear birds chiming, that gives you energy to start the day. And yeah, I agree, if your day is if your day starts well in the morning, the rest of the day you carry that positive attitude. So definitely with you on that. Thanks a lot, Rajiv. With that, I'll end my session. It was really nice of all the guests to take up this opportunity and break the shackle and try it out, and also all the Toastmasters who have came forward. I just want to tell specifically to the guests, this is just maybe a teaser of what happens in a Toastmaster session. Imagine if you enroll for 6 months, and if you maybe see the entire movie, like Sanish said in the start, it will definitely inspire you, right?